Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
What's up, everyone? We are back, season 4. Talk about it, kickoff episode, and I think we'd be doing it wrong if we didn't start off the first episode with my boy Pate Smith, MMA. Pate, quite a year we've gone through. You've got a lot of exciting things that have happened in the last 12 months, but thank you for coming back for another episode of Talk About It with me. I think you've been a part of all 4 seasons, so that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, man. I love talk about it. I mean, I love tacos. I love talking. I miss you now that we no longer live in the same area. What's it like not getting to live less than 50 miles from me?
It's awful, and I haven't even gotten an invite to come down and see your new crib yet. So, like, I haven't even been invited to Houston. So,
It's hot right now, like really hot, like deathly hot. So, but you're invited anytime, especially the kids. Obviously, you need to learn how to cook on a grill. So that's something that I could, spend time teaching you. I mean, I'd be excited to do that for you and your family. I'd like to be excited so your wife can finally have good barbecue.
yeah, there we go. Well, I'm excited about this year's Talk About It because we always try to come up with some sort of a theme. And I thought, what better theme for this one than looking back at 2020 and, finding the good things that we changed in our businesses that we're going to continue to use going forward. And I think that, we've all found a lot of things that, maybe we didn't do prior to 2020, and now we're being really successful with those. For you in the world of MMA, like, obviously you're now an official practicing attorney, right?
Yep, I'm an attorney. How weird's that to say?
That is. That is. And you got a new kid, so hopefully you learn some new, diaper changing techniques, some of those things. But in the world of
I'll be
business,
honest. I've only changed 2 diapers. Uh,
oh
you
man.
know, so with the twins, I changed infinity diapers. But I'm telling you, if anybody out there in Talk About It land ever says, "I just want to have twin kids and just get it over with," like, you don't know what you're talking about. So don't do that. One kid at a time is the game. If anybody's like, "Should I have 2 kids?" No, one kid is the game. One kid at a time. So it's so much easier.
One at a time.
Infinitely.
One at a time. And you just have to have somebody amazing like MK to actually change all those diapers. Because I went one at a time and I still changed quite a few diapers. So I don't know if I but let's jump into business, Pate. How's life at MMA?
It's good, man. We just opened another office, so we got one in Pensacola, Florida now. Really excited to see the growth of the company. James and Zach have really done a great job leading us and taking us to kind of to the next realm of, I guess, first party law, which is something that when I came over, I definitely wanted to do. I think we all have a goal of being one of the largest and greatest first party law firms of all time. And I think that's something we're working towards, I guess expediently.
Absolutely. So for you and for MMA in 2020, what are some things that you guys maybe did that you weren't doing previously that helped with that growth trajectory?
I think for me, scalable contact. So that's something that I've really worked towards, and I've worked towards it in the past a lot. Getting in front of as many people as possible was always a goal. But then I think COVID really allowed me to look at some greater versions of efficiencies that I've been able to employ. One thing I do every June and September is I try to talk to 30 new people a day that are potential partners or referral sources, people that I can refer, just really 30 new people that I can, spread the good word of McClenny, Moseley and Associates to. And in the past, I looked to do that in maybe less efficient ways. And now, because of COVID and some of the technological efficiencies, I've really been, kind of booming those contacts out and meeting people, and it's just much more acceptable. Like you look back in the early 2000s, online dating was a thing, right? But it wasn't popular. It was seen as like semi taboo. It was like, oh, you're going to date somebody that you met online. And now you see online dating is very popular, and something that, kids in college are like, yeah, of course I met this person online. Versus, businesses had a slightly slower trajectory on business contacts. I want to kind of be on the forefront of that. And, I want to have people swipe right for the opportunity to work with us or something like that. And that's something that I'm every day trying to go towards.
So without giving away too much of your secret sauce, then what are you doing to get more people to swipe right on Pate Smith?
Instagram's been big this year, particularly on the pipe burst. My DMs were popping off on the pipe burst. Very thankful for that. Learning how to utilize Instagram for business, and having people reach out has been, very fruitful. Facebook direct messaging has been very fruitful. People just, hit me up on there. Obviously, Facebook's always a great business tool, but having people really have a reason to send you that direct message, and then being there to expediently check those direct messages and respond is something that seems like it's an obvious and easy task, but can commonly get lost in checking things like email. And then uh, LinkedIn has been good, really good on setting up new meetings. People just reaching out, you connecting with them. Hey, instead of let's meeting up, let's go ahead and have a Zoom. And I think that's been outstanding. I just met like a monster developer, and our entire relationship has been email, cell phone, and Zoom, right? And I think that that's great because I get to do things like stay home, hang out with my kids, etc., and I still have that scalability of contact. Does that mean we're not going out in the world and seeing people? No, not at all. Like, we're still doing that. We're just doing things in a drastically more efficient manner. It lets, Tim Johnson, who's an attorney in Minnesota, said, he was like, man, COVID may be the biggest positive for anybody that I've ever seen, as it'd be for someone like me who was on the road, all of the year.
Mhm.
And obviously, with having my kids get a little bit older, as much as I love seeing everybody, I'm getting to the point to where I want to stay home more. I want to be there. I want to, chase them around with squirt guns. And technological efficiencies have let me do that without having a loss and maybe having a gain. And that's something that I really pride myself in to continue to be innovative in um, business connection, and really embrace kind of like, let's say, out of business social um, connectivity means to then borrow into business. I mean, I've tried everything. Bumble even has a business platform, and I messed around on that a little bit. It hasn't been successful, but that doesn't mean it won't be successful. So I've tried to be an early adopter in as many things as I can, which is absolutely exhausting, but beneficial as well.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. The early adopters are the ones that are the most proficient in 3 years or 5 years when it does start, really seeing some good returns. My question,
I remember there was an app one time, where I was an early adopter of that app, and now, I mean, those guys have just gone through all types of rounds of funding. They've got just a gigantic, they've got a gigantic sales staff. Just really, they're getting developers from companies like Huddle. So yeah, I mean, I think that little company was called Company Cam. I was an early adopter of that.
you're cutting edge. I do have a legit question for you here. 30 new people a day in June and September. I don't even care as to like what went through your head to choose June and September, but I want to know what percentage of those are them hitting you up on social media via email, those kind of things versus outreach on your end to go and meet new people?
So rule one is no email. That's cheating.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, so I actually have rules for this. So it depends on what it is, but it has to be 30 outreaches by me.
Okay.
So, and it could be like today. I talked to one of my buddies, Daniel, from high school, and he's a developer and develops apartment complexes for um, companies, and just connecting with him, and I count that as one of my 30, even though Daniel's not new. He'd be new to the company, right? And that's something like that, and it's an exhausting process. Like literally it says on my board, for the months of June and September, it's obsess over your pipeline, and then July and October I then reap the results or reward from that and do follow backups with those individuals. And it's some of these are just going to fall on deaf ears, but if every day I meet a person that ends up being an outstanding connect for the company, then that's actually our tech person, Zach. There, when we had that internet, Zach was the one that was,
Got you up
splicing
and
up the Cat 5 cables. That's what he was doing.
yeah, he did well. He did well. The internet's a little bit better for you. So that's really interesting. Let's take a quick break here. And when we come back, I want to dive a little bit deeper into that because, you know, 1 out of 30 or 2 out of 30, that's not, not Hall of Fame worthy in baseball. But obviously in the business world, if you can get that, you're doing pretty well. So let's take a quick break and we come back. I want to dive a little deeper there.
Hey guys, Jordan here with a quick reminder that you can catch up on all of the episodes of Season 4 at companycam.com/taco-4. And while you're there, if you're not already signed up for Company Cam, you can sign up and get 50% off your first 2 months of Company Cam Pro. Again, companycam.com/taco-4.
All right, we are back with Pate Smith. We left off Pate talking about how in the business world, your batting average is definitely not Hall of Fame worthy. 1 or 2, fruitful relationships out of 30. But when you think of it in a business sense, to think you're going to add probably 30 to 60 new good relationships in the months of June and September.
It usually comes out to about 60 a month. This after like the year, it'll be like 60. So maybe they don't pop off for 4 months, but the thing is business is about planting seeds. Okay. And then that's step one. You got to plant seeds. If you're bringing business in, one of my past clients at a previous company, in a consulting business, said to me, do you know what the worst type of real estate agent is? Do you know this answer, Gogan? Because I've told you this before. What's the worst type of real estate agent?
I don't think you've ever told me, but the worst type is the one
You
that
weren't listening. I'm used to this. It's just like my marriage. I just say things incredible. I give incredible dimes of knowledge, and then this. Go ahead. Yeah. What's the worst type of real estate agent?
probably the ones that plant a lot of seeds but don't harvest the rewards.
No, a secret agent, because nobody knows them because they never plant the seeds. Do you see what I'm saying? So
Okay.
Step one, don't be a secret agent. You got to plant the seeds, and then you never know when they're going to come up. I've had people that a great example is somebody that I've chased around for years as a public adjuster, and then finally calls me out of the blue. Haven't even thought about this person in probably 2 years. Calls me out of the blue with a Hurricane Sally couple losses, probably anywhere from 3 to 5 mil in total. And that was a seed that I planted long ago. Right. And you never know when those are going to sprout. And so I don't care about the results. I care about in every step of the process, doing the best possible job, because I can't ever make somebody become a client. Ever. Can't make them, right? You can just do your best up until that
Mhm.
point. And so maybe that's, connecting with property managers, public adjusters, contractors, and just let them know, hey, this is what we do, right? And you do your best job every single time of that. So every time I have a phone call, right, do my best job there. Now, do I want that relationship to be prosperous? Eventually, yes. Can I make it? No. But what can I do? I can control what I can control. I can control my attitude. I can control how I listen to them. I can control uh, how I think about their pain points and how I can address those issues. What does this person need? And maybe it's not something that I can help with. Maybe I put them and connect them with somebody, right? And if we follow, a lot of great teachers and professional development um, consultants, one thing you learn is that connectors of people are regarded very high in a person's Dunbar's 150. And that's one of my goals too is, hey, maybe MMA doesn't help this person directly with a claim, but what they can do is they can help them with something else. Maybe we refer them, etc., to someone else that can help them. Maybe somebody gets an offender bender. Obviously, we're not handling that, but we put them in the best hands of somebody who can. And they look at McClenny, Moseley and Associates positively, right? And that seed's planted. And, in 36 months, when their grandma's house is hit with hail and denied, they're calling us up.
Mhm.
And that's kind of the goal with this is long-term seeds and obsessing over that pipeline.
So I think, and I'm just thinking about my own personal. I love the idea of planting those seeds, building as many relationships as you can out there. What do you specifically do once those seeds have been planted to make sure that you're continuing to water them, making sure that you're giving them enough attention? Because I think that's probably the hardest part. Like, yeah, you don't want to be that secret agent, not plant any seeds, but then, okay, I've planted all these seeds. How do I make sure that I keep giving them what they need to eventually produce fruit?
So one of the things that I do is July and October are follow-up months. So what I'm doing is I'm pushing every single person to give me a yes or no on a phone call or Zoom. I would say, so I don't even worry about yeses. I say, I'm going to get 10 no's today. Okay. And so that way I'm not focusing on results, I'm focusing on contacts. All right. And I'm going to give my best opportunity. And I won't stop until I have 10 people tell me no. So that may mean I get 20 yeses in a day. I may get 12 yeses in a day. I may get 2 yeses and 10 nos. But what I'm going to do is actively reconnect with those individuals to have a conference call, to have a Zoom, to discuss their issues.
Absolutely. And I think I'd love your opinion on it, but I think, I mean, myself, I could do a much better job on that follow up game. I think, I mean, you would probably even would say you could get better at it. We can all get better at it. But I think contractors really struggle in that space. They want those instant wins, that instant gratification. And so they feel like, oh, I planted the seed last week. Like, why hasn't this, apartment complex hired me out to do their roof? Or why hasn't this, general contractor hired me to do a bunch of HVAC work for them? How do you keep on that path, because you seemingly like and I love calling you out on it when I feel like you're off your game, because you're always seemingly on your game of like in a good mood, upbeat, ready to go. And so I love calling you out when you're not. You get a little down on yourself, but how do you stay so positive in this time of planting seeds and getting 10 no's a day?
Um, so I think I learned this because I had like a long time concentration in like my youth on like male personal development, and I am not outcome oriented. I'm process oriented. Um, I do love instant gratification. Like literally, my favorite thing in the world is when like an 8-figure claim like lands in your lap and like ready to go, let's sign. But like honestly, I don't celebrate those. Like I love the difficult signups. I just had one where I think we went against like 4 or 5 other law firms in Florida on a all tile they're like apartment complex multifamilies, all on like one or two policies. Great scenario. And this was just a really, really long, he interviewed multiple attorneys, law firms, contractors, blah, 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 blah. And I had to sit there, myself, Zach, Kelsey, and really nurture the relationship, right? And he asked so many questions. And I'm fine with that because I want to win. I don't want the easy W's. I celebrate every one, but those when you get it and you're just like, that's the sweetest. And I think that's it. Is I look at signing, 100 mil in a month up the same as I look at creating a great contact that maybe sends me one claim a year or something. I look at those, I think, the same because it's the process of getting that win. When you look back at, when you look back at a year and you look at all the stuff that you've done for your business, a lot of times it's not about the money. It's about what you overcame to get those wins and the processes that you had to employ and the creativity and the consistency. And I think, honest, man, like, I feel like I've done a lot in like the last 5 years and really learned a lot. And I don't know, dealt with a numerous and just incredible amount of like difficult things in business. And like, as I look back at it, I don't look at any of like the big claims as the successes. Like, they're there, but I can look at some and I'm just like, wow, that was logistically difficult, and
Mm-hmm.
I think I intrinsically hold them or internally hold them in higher regard than, I don't know, like a heavy 7 or 8 figure win.
I think that's pretty common. And I think about some of my biggest wins with company came, and it's yeah, a few of them are really big ones, but it wasn't because they happened overnight. It was 6 months of chasing them down and trying to get them to say yes. Or my buddy Matt Danskin, I think it was a year and a half before I could even get him to try the app out. Like, he was just against it. Now he loves it. So I agree with you there. When you talk about things you've overcome, let's specifically look at 2020. And you're talking about like the scalability of getting in front of people. How do you see that? And I kind of want to wrap up with this question. So obviously 2021 is now going to present us back with the same opportunities we had in 2019, where we can travel and be out in front of people and there's events. How important do you see what you're going to take from 2020 and melding that together with what you're going to do in 2021?
I think massively important. I think you're going to see a huge shift in me in how and who I spend time on. Now that I've kind of distilled down some data, I think that's going to be a big change. I don't know if I'm going to be as out at conferences and stuff as I was previously. Right now, I don't think I'm not currently planning on doing any conferences next year. Hot take, I guess. What's up, world? I don't think I'm going to have a booth or be at any conferences. But I might, but it's just, I don't think I'm going to, just because of the way some things kind of land on my schedule. And looking at that, I had to ask my question, okay, if you don't do that, how is it going to affect your pipeline? And then how can you mitigate that loss? And I think that 2020 and what we learned in 2020 is really going to help me mitigate, not being able to attend some of those large events. I think I can attend IRE. I think that was the one that worked out. But like one of them, I'm going to Cabo with a whole bunch of like people from the Midwest that manage a considerable amount of assets and money. And then I think some are from Michigan too. Is Michigan Midwest? I don't know. I don't know. They can't win at football. I'll tell you that. Can't beat Ohio State.
Well, I mean, I was gonna say I think they're kind of in the Ohio Valley region, so like they didn't even get. But
yeah, I mean, you guys have a lot of trouble with Ohio State over there in Lincoln too, but we won't get into that.
yeah, we'll just keep going.
Hot take on that. You want to put that back on a relay, or whatever your tech people do. But yeah, man, I think that's kind of what I'm going to do is just continue kind of with what we're doing now, do a lot of stuff like this. I mean, my schedule is kind of packed with meetings now, and, really get in front of people in a more efficient manner. I mean, one of my goals is to be at home like 200 days a year. And to be able to accomplish that, there's going to have to be some travel adjustments. I mean, I'm married. I want to see my wife. That's like awesome. See my kids, and just really, we're living in a new city, don't have family here, and I want to be there as a dad. And so to do that, there's going to be some cost to that. You know what? I'm fine because I know I can be inventive enough to mitigate any potential loss of being in front of people. And I'm still going to be in front of people. And if we have to go and sign up and, get in front of somebody and sign up a church or sign up a HOA, that's in Fairhope or Birmingham or wherever, I'm down.
Pate, thanks again for jumping on with us, kicking off season 4. Talk about it. Great episode. And everyone, thanks for joining us. Look forward to episode 2 next week.